Welcome back. It's about time for our party to take our first long rest in Act 3, but before we do that, let's go ahead and uh, level everybody up. We also have the choice now of whether or not we want to try to deal with the Assassin's Guild quest before we rest or after. Uh, let's first start talking about what our options are for level 12 for all of our characters. So at level 12, our bard gets an additional spell, can replace a spell, and we get a new feat. Again, we've got the same list of spells we had at last level. Nothing really jumping out as particularly amazing for us here. Eye Bite's probably the next best option. We choose to replace a spell, and then we've got a feat that we can pick. So we could increase our dexterity a little bit. We could choose Lucky, which is just a generally good feat if we're looking to try to pass tests. There aren't a lot of skill tests that are left in the game. We could take Tavern Brawler and throw things the same as the Lizelle and Karlach do. We've got 2 attacks around. It would be very similar. We've got some returning weapons. So Alfira is actually not really any worse at that than Karlach would be. We could take Warcaster or Resilient stat to try to keep up with the concentration of spells, or we could take Heavily Armored to try to qualify for some of the more powerful armors in the game. If we want to keep Alfira alive in combats, this is actually not a terrible idea. Heavily Armored gives us access to some of the armors that Damon has, and those are pretty good. We could also pick up a dual wielder if we want to carry around 2 staves or something like that. To keep it easy, we're just going to take ability improvement, and we'll increase our dexterity by 2. This will allow us to swap out the gloves of dexterity for the necrotic gloves or the Hellforce gloves or something, or Legacy of the Masters that would increase our damage by a little more. For our druids, again, we've got access to another feat. We've already taken Tavern Brawler, which is the best one that we're going to have for our forms. So our options were to take Resilient, right? Or we could take Warcaster. So if we take Resilient Constitution, we're going to get a con of 16, so some extra hit points, and we'll be able to better maintain our spells. So that's what we're going to do. And effectively, Halcyon has the exact same situation, so we're going to do the same thing. Resilient Constitution, get some additional hit points, and have a better concentration save. For Gale, we'll get to pick 2 new spells. We're going to take Chain Lightning, and we could take Autoluke's Freezing Spear, which is a pretty good spell. We could take Disintegrate, that's a pretty good spell. We've got some scrolls of several of these, so we'll take Autoluke's Freezing Spear. Here we have another feat. So we have a question again, do we want to walk around with 2 staves? So ultimately the staves increase our DC, right? So we get the +1 to spell difficulty that we would get by putting an additional point in. What we can do is split that stat boost between dexterity and intelligence, so we could get +1 to initiative and +1 to our spell difficulty numbers, or we can get +2 to our spell difficulty numbers. And I think that the better choice is that we take dual wielder, so we can wield 2 staves, 1 in each hand. And just to sort of show you what that looks like,
Yes.
We can swap out a shield and equip Woe as well. Alright, so we've got a whole camp full of people that we need to level up.
Another step forward.
And
I expected Nightsong to be overjoyed after killing her fair-haired fool. Instead, she just seemed tired.
and we'll point out to Astarion that maybe vengeance isn't all it's cracked up to be.
No, I don't think that's it. She probably just needs some time for it to sink in. I'm sure she'll be elated soon.
He's sort of still not getting it.
Yes? I would, but you have so many friends already.
And we'll swap out with Gale.
Excellent. Now that that's settled, lead on.
For our rogue at 12, we can replace a spell. Here, if we wanted to, we could pick up Knock for doors that Astarion has trouble unlocking. It's better than Blur. For feats, Astarion only cares about dexterity, so we have hit the cap for what we're able to do with that. And our next best option is to increase his access to armor. So we could take moderately armored and choose the +1 strength bonus, and this will give him access to medium armor and shields. Here's the statue that we commissioned. And Volo wants to talk to us.
Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much.
And you can see he's still interested in solving our parasite problem. We got Yenna and the cat. We'll go talk to Karlak.
I don't get it. What's got Dame Aylin so down? I, for one, am delighted Leroican got what was coming to him.
So she's probably tired of killing evildoers, or perhaps revenge isn't as sweet as it seems. Well, Karlak is also after revenge, so we'll put that out.
Believe me, I plan to revel mightily once I've finished with Gortash. Hopefully, Dame Aylin will be back to herself by then, so she can congratulate me on a Merthera well broken.
Copper for your thoughts? No room in your party. What should I do?
And we'll swap out with Jaheira.
Now we're talking.
And we'll level up. No choices here for a barbarian. We just get relentless rage. So if we drop to 0 while we're enraged, we go to 1 hit point instead of being down, sort of like a death ward. At 11 and at 12, we get our extra feat, and we'll take ability improvement, strength. We could, if we wanted to, also work on dex and con. So if we are content to use potions, we can get an additional point of initiative, a few extra hit points, and she adds her constitution to AC. So probably not going to be using her too much for the rest of the game, so it doesn't really matter which you pick. We've already leveled Jaheira.
Baldur's Gate at last. We should find Sharess's caress. Voss will be waiting.
And we'll have her
The
join.
party's full. You'll need to make room.
and she can take Halsin's spot.
Ready for battle.
Probably should have brought her to the Roken fight. She does a lot more damage more quickly than Halsin does. So same thing, we could take a look at her spells. If there's something that isn't really moving for us anymore, we could replace it, so we could give her a knock or something too. Here, we can invest further in her abilities, and similar to Karlach, we could choose the Con Dex route, or we could continue investing in strength. Doesn't really matter too much. We'll try to get her to go a little faster in the initiative order.
Let's talk. I'd love to join, but I don't think there's enough space for me to squeeze in.
And we'll swap him out with Asterion.
Ready and willing.
We get an additional spell here. We could take any of the stuff on the list that looks interesting to us. Nothing's really jumping out. This may be for blowing up objects, invisibility, if we were worried about trying to get out of combat. We have a lot of scrolls of that. He does have a pretty high DC, so we could take Hold Monster. Probably won't cast that. We can have a packed weapon, deal necrotic damage, not interested in that. Don't need Enhanced Sleep, don't need Speak with Dead. Confusion's not too bad, not going to cast Polymorph. We won't be using Slow or Bestow Curse. And the rest of these are not very meaningful. We don't need Repelling Blast, we actually want them to not be far away from us. For Will, pretty much the only thing that matters is having a higher charisma, that is his to hit and twice damage, so we're going to push that to 20. And we'll go pick up Shadowheart.
I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad to have some company on this journey.
And we'll ask her to join.
It seems like you have ample company already. You'll need to figure out who you can live without before I can join.
And we'll have her take Karlach's place.
Wonderful. I was beginning to feel a little left out.
And we'll level Shadowheart again. So Cleric level 11, not much to talk about. We pick up a level 6 spell slot. And we've got a feat here again. The last time we took Warcaster, this time we will take Resilient Constitution. So when Shadowheart casts a spell, we want it to be sticky. And that's it for leveling up. So I'm going to stop this video here, and in the next one we'll start questing again. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.